I always kind of use this scenario for these conversations because this is the thing that troubles me the most, and that is the kid who's currently in sixth grade, the 12-year-old in sixth grade who has had access to this, may not have teachers who are maybe as proactive as some of the ones that you've mentioned, and they are using it to cheat effectively,
Yeah.
and but it's working.
Yeah, they're getting away with it.
They're getting away with it. And nobody's really monitoring it because in the end, to a large degree in some of these school systems, there's a certain kind of bureaucratic laissez-faire, whatever, we're just going to cycle them through. Not to be too negative there, but I think there's a kind of a hands off, there's not much we can do. The system is the system, and I can't, I can only do so much as a single teacher in this kind of, and I have to get the grades, and I have to get and if the kids are using it to kind of cheat their way along, you know what? I'm getting the grades, but my bigger thing is that kid has got 6 more years of this technology before they're 18.
Yeah.
And we've seen what the first 3 years look like. And so the next 6 years is going to be even more ridiculously advanced.
Yeah.
To the point where we're now going to have, AI avatars that are going to be impossible to recognize as artificial when presented in kind of 2 dimensions, like we're presenting one another to. And then that kid is going to be asked to go to some post, education path, college, trades, some other occupation, and spend another however many years out of the workforce. And then they're going to be doing all that to chase some sort of piece of paper, diploma, degree for an entry-level job that may not exist. I mean, that in 10 years' time, and by the time they come out of college, they're going to be given access to an entry-level job that
doesn't exist.
In 10 years' time will have been easy to replace. That the value that they would have delivered as that 22-year-old kid in 10 years' time has been replaced by technology simply and cheaply, to the point where hiring one kid would be a mistake by any organization, just an economic mistake. It would just not be a good business decision to hire this human to do this thing that this digital thing does for effectively free. So what do we do there? I mean, how do we help these? Like, is there an alternate path where that kid doesn't necessarily need? Could you see an alternate path where there is another way for that kid to get the skills that they may need to get the jobs that they ultimately could find beneficial to them economically earlier? I don't know. I mean, or we're just going to have to wait for the school systems, the bureaucracies, the boards of education, and the kind of larger governmental to kind of wake up? Because I feel like they're just ill-equipped to move at the speed that this is moving at.
I share your concern. Public school moves at a glacial pace. We are ill-equipped. Public school in America moves incredibly slow. There's lots of reasons for that. And I think for a kid like that, I think their biggest attribute and thing that's going to make them successful is their ability to continue to learn and have grit, which is these are those soft skills, right? You were talking about.
Grit's a good one.
To continue to grapple with the next thing, to be able to learn what's new and what's next, to upskill. I'm seeing lots of opportunities for people to earn and upskill and earn certificates that are not at a university with businesses. And it costs money, but it's not the the cost of a university credit. You can go, get on third parties that are companies that are giving certifications, and you can take online courses and get certified in this and certified in that. And you're learning, like LinkedIn courses and Coursera and all these other things. You can learn those skills. So being a scholar, a person who wants to continue, a lifelong learner, right? We want to be lifelong learners. And I think if kids can walk out of school with one thing, and that's always something I've wanted kids to walk out of my classroom with, if you can be a lifelong learner and you're hungry to learn more, you're going to have a job. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. You're going to have some grit, and you're going to have to work your hiney off to get there. But if you are a lifelong learner, nobody can stop you, and you're gonna be successful. It might take you a while, but you can do it.
I think you're absolutely right. And so the question is, how can you teach that mindset? How do you teach that mindset? Or more to the point, how do you make learning so, and this is where maybe AI actually is a value, in that it can personalize the education or the learning to the point where it's so relatable that it becomes this kind of, muscle memory for the kids, because how they're learning, or the frame through which they're learning, is relatable enough for them that it clicks. It finally clicks in, and they're like, it's an insatiable interest for me.
There has to be some sort of incentive. Like there has to be the buy-in. Students have to have a buy-in. Like, why am I learning this thing? Why do I have to start? Because if they don't have buy-in, they're not going to learn anything, right? I don't want to learn how to do this because it's not interesting to me. The end goal is not what I want, whatever. So when they have the buy-in, they can learn whatever they want, and they can get it. And I think AI is a really great way to do that. It's a powerful learning tool. I use it to learn all the time. You can go into learning mode on a lot of these LLMs. You can be like, I don't get it. Tell me in a different way. I still don't get it. Tell me in another way. Create flashcards. Make a learning plan for me. Quiz me. You can do all this stuff. It's incredibly powerful. Motivating students, motivating adults. Those are challenging things, right? Being motivated to learn and go for it. If you can find the answer to motivate every single person, let me know. But it's, if somebody has the motivation to learn something, they can use AI to make them incredibly powerful in learning, and knowledge is power. And so they can use it, and they can be an incredibly powerful person in their own learning with AI.